Hey everyone, it's your energy healer, Zach Luz. Today's energy healing is going to be on business and attracting better clients. So I wanted to do today's energy healing because I've been a business owner for a long time. A lot of my friends are business owners, and there's something I really connect with, the spiritual journey that connects so strongly with the path of entrepreneurship. And now I'm starting to see a lot more people that are starting their own businesses or have dreams of owning their own businesses. So what I wanted to do in this energy healing was help you start attracting the right kinds of clients. I've gone through this where if you have the wrong clients in your business, it can be extremely demotivating. Your business can feel like a total slog, and it's just not a fun experience. Whereas, even if you're doing the exact same things, but you have the right clients in your business, your whole experience changes. So, in case you're new, here's how these pick a healings work. In a second, I'm going to pop up a couple numbers on the screen. And then let your intuition guide you to pick one of those numbers, and whatever one you feel intuitively drawn to, that's going to correspond with the energy healing that I'm going to do specifically for you. So what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to scan all the different groups and kind of look through a bunch of the big energetic blocks that are preventing clients from coming to you. And then I'm going to find like what are the common themes, and then I'm going to try to narrow it in on what's like the one main block. And then in your energy healing, I'll clear those for you. So I'll talk about where they came from, how they originated, how you took them on, what role they're serving, and then we'll update them. So we'll basically like delete an old pattern and then we'll add in a new one. If that sounds weird, I totally understand. It was very weird to me too. I have a podcast that explains all about how all this stuff happens. So if you're interested, you can check it out. But in these picky healings, I just want to focus on helping you with your business and attracting the right clients to you. So let's go ahead and pop the numbers up now. And I'll give you a second. You can pause the video if you'd like to take your time and pick the right number for you. So I'm going to assume that you've already picked your number. Now what you can do is go into the description box below this video and then use the timestamps, and that'll skip you ahead to your specific energy healing. But before you go do that, I do recommend that you stick around for the grounding meditation. While this looks and sounds and feels a lot like a normal meditation, these can be very like physically disorienting. It doesn't happen to everybody, but sometimes it does. So please don't listen to this while you're driving or doing something where you should have your 100% attention on the task at hand. So let's go ahead and get started with the grounding meditation now if you're ready. Take a deep breath in through your nose and then release through your mouth. Inhale again. And out through your mouth. Keep breathing like that. And now I'm going to start working on everybody. You can take a second, flip open your eyes, just kind of like notice where you are, and then go ahead and close your eyes again if you'd like. So start becoming really aware of your body and the position that your body is in. Notice where your hands are, where your arms are, how they're positioned, where your legs are, how they're positioned. Just kind of start doing like a body scan. I'm going to assume that most of us know how to do that. And if you don't, just scan your whole body from head to toe. All right, group 1, you're up. Let me see what's going on for you. Okay, so what you guys are doing is you're undervaluing yourself, and that's basically broadcasting out a signal that is attracting the complete wrong client for you. So you might have gone through all kinds of business training stuff where it taught you how to connect with like a higher level of client, but as long as you're undervaluing yourself, you guys will never match up and never meet. So it's like a frequency thing where you're literally resonating at a lower level than the client that you want. So let's see why you did that in the first place. It's like a way to be generous, a way to be kind in the sales process by putting yourself lower. There's a lot of stuff in the business world that's like, make the customer right, the customer's always right, that kind of thing. So you've just taken that a little bit too far, where you're devaluing yourself and you're putting them up. So it's like you probably have a strong emphasis on service. You might be like a helper type that's constantly looking to help people, but as long as you don't value yourself, you can't rendezvous with the right people for you. You probably are aware of this. This isn't like a revolutionary thing that I'm talking about right now, but let me see if I can find out like what are the deeper reasons. Okay, so this is like more like a generational thing. It's not even like a personal block. Where this stems from for you, it's not even yours. This is something that you inherited. What's happening is you're valuing yourself down here and you're valuing your ideal clients up here. So then it's like you're pushing yourself. It's like you're being humble. You're pushing the customer up, pushing these other people up above you. And you're saying like, oh, like the customer is always right. I'm here to serve you. You're very grateful and thankful to your customers, like anybody that's paying you. So you push yourself down to push them up. It's kind of like a sales method that you use to demonstrate to somebody else like how important they are and how much you appreciate them. But you're pushing yourself down so much that you're literally resonating at a different level. So what happens is you go out and then you try to attract these clients. But what happens is, since you have this dynamic instead of it being like this, you're resonating down here so you can see them, but they never really come into your experience. And you just get these clients that are, it's like they always want more. If you think back a couple generations, like your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, just keep going back and back, the chances are that someone like that worked in like a factory environment are pretty high. So like here's how the whole generational handing down goes. So like the same way our DNA works, what our ancestors want to do more than anything is they want to pass forward like all of their good patterns into us. So what happens is they just give us as many patterns as they can. So sometimes what we do is we download the patterns that worked back then, but now they're outdated, so then it doesn't work as well. So the pattern that you've got going on with undervaluing yourself, how it used to work back in the day, basically the way that they would get ahead was by being humble. They wouldn't act like they're too good for certain jobs. They'd be willing to do whatever. They'd be very appreciative of their employer or whoever was giving them money. So they would never dare to offend them by seeing themselves on the same level. So what happens is that pattern worked very, very well. So like pushing yourself down to get ahead worked back in the day, worked for a great-great-grandparent or an ancestor or that kind of thing. Like that's the pattern. So what you did was you took that pattern on, not out of negligence. It was just like, it's like, you can see this example with physical gifts. We all have those gifts that our grandparents give to us. And we're like, oh, thank you so much. And then we look at it, we're like, this doesn't really match my life right now. And we're like, I kind of want to throw it away, but I feel guilty doing that. I feel like it's bad. And like they were so excited about it. So, okay, I need to at least keep it for a while and try it out. And maybe it's a good gift. So you have that going on with this subconscious pattern. So that's what's going on with your client dynamic. So you trying to preserve that connection to what was good and wonderful and effective and efficient for your grandparent. They're like literally trying to give you that gift because that led to so much wonderful things showing up in their life. They're trying to give that to you, and then it doesn't fit anymore for you. The way business operates has changed dramatically. Like even if we go back like 50 years in time, there's no talk about like authenticity and personal expression and, tons and tons of creativity. Those weren't even like things back in the day. Business was a thing about efficiency and, low prices and slick advertisements and that kind of thing. Like it had nothing to do with nowadays when we have someone that can go on YouTube, speak about their like authentic truth, speak about the thing that moves them. You see someone's lifestyle and that moves you into like making purchases and stuff. That way of existing, that paradigm didn't even exist to our ancestors. So what happens is in their selfless, most generous impulse to give what is wonderful and pass that down to their descendants, we take that on just kind of like that awkward Christmas present. So that's basically what's going on for you. For the majority, that working class factory example is going to resonate quite a bit. But there's a smaller portion if we come from like a religious background, or we had family members that were in a religious background. If we replace the person that provides money with, we'll just say, distorted versions of God, it still creates the same dynamic. By pushing ourselves down, that's how we get ahead. That's the pattern. So what's happening for you now is in your current business, whether you run your own business or you work with somebody else, you're trying to like get here so that the two of you can resonate on the same wavelength so that you can have these clients that you're very excited to work with, instead of you constantly feeling like your clients kind of like look down on you, that they are asking you for stuff, that they push you, they make you work harder. You really have to struggle, and then you end up resenting the business that you have. So for you have to make it so it's not a violation for you to be here. Back in the day, it was extremely offensive. Just imagine like someone going into a factory and the boss saying, okay, you need to get 100 of these done by the end of the day. And then the other person like says, okay, well, I have a different idea of how we're going to approach this. Like the person would get fired instantly and be thrown into poverty. So it's like there wasn't a whole lot of room for that back then. Now, the world is a lot different. So now I know from my personal experience, when I refuse to push myself down and like treat them like they're better, they actually gain a lot more respect for me. And then they trust my recommendations and they trust my work a lot more. So that same possibility is available for you too. Like we're in a position now where the business world has completely changed and you can connect with people on an authentic human level, and that's who people actually want to do business with now. They don't need the huge like ego boost thing that was so prevalent, back like 100 years ago. So that's the pattern that you got. So I'll delete that one, and then I'll talk about what we can install instead. So give me a sec. And I just want you to really get like, if don't go blame your ancestors for trying to give you the best of what they experienced through life. Remember, our grandparents, they didn't have iPhones, they didn't have YouTube channels, they didn't have like all of the stuff that we have. So them passing forward that gift, like take the gift in it. And there is still like a lot of things around that are very valuable. For example, if you're in this group, you probably have an extremely hard work ethic, you're extremely persistent, you're extremely disciplined. When you say you're going to do something, you're able to do it not only just once, but you can keep doing it. That's another part of the gift that you've inherited from your grandparents. So just think of all the other people that you know that are in business that don't have that don't have an ability to be consistent with things, and look at how much more they struggle than you. So don't throw away all the gifts that your ancestors have given to you. Just edit them so that they suit you. All right, so now let me talk about the new pattern that we're going to install. So the first word that I get on this is like inclusion. A good way for you to view your client relationships is in that way. The metaphor that came in my head was, they do the double Dutch jump rope thing. So someone's like standing on the outside and they're getting ready to go in, but then the other person is very consistently moving the jump rope back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So whenever the person's ready, they can jump right in. So that's the way that you harmonize that pattern that you have that works for you, that consistency thing that you got as a gift from your ancestors. It's been instilled into not only just your business, but it's like who you are as a person. You can take that and you can use that to make it safe for the clients that you want to come in and interact with you. It's an inclusion thing. You're inviting them in. Do you see how in the jump rope example, neither one is better? I mean, you could have someone that is like homeless and you could have the top CEO of the most exclusive company in the world. And, all that matters is that the homeless guy that's doing the rope, he's just consistent. Like, it doesn't matter. And like the CEO, who's this amazing person, if they can't do it consistently, like they can't make it so somebody else can jump in. So that's the way for you to view your client relationships. You're both equals. One of you is holding the stability and the structure for the other one to come in and play. So, different way of running business. But if you're here, you've probably been seeing a lot of other people that have been making their businesses thrive in that way. And the ones that you want to be like, they're having a lot of fun when they're doing their business. So that's kind of like the leading edge for you, is for business to start actually being fun, it not being such a grind. And you might have some other patterns that you need to clear out there, and I'll do more energy healings on that stuff. But today I'll help you start entering that new pattern where it's about including those ideal clients without making yourself less than. Business is going to be fun again. So it's not such a serious white-knuckled thing. So that's what we'll work on. I'm also feeling a lot of stuff around the throat, so you're going to have to work on your expression quite a bit. Yeah, so I'm going to clear some of those fears out, those generational fears of being working class. How dare I express some of these ideas? You probably might even be triggered listening to me talk about this. And if I'm triggering you, that's great, because then you know that it's there, which is kind of the point. I think you guys got the picture of this. So now I'm just going to start doing some energy healing, moving some stuff around, clearing some things out, and then installing the new patterns. So if you want that, open up your energy, say yes. If you aren't sure or you don't want that, close your energy and say no. And let's go ahead. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is work on the throat, because it's really, you guys feel really scared about this. And if you don't feel scared, someone in your lineage might feel very scared for you. So I'm going to work on that first. Take a deep breath in through your nose. If any emotions are coming up, it's okay. Just let them pass. bring your attention between your shoulders and like forehead, like your third eye. So just imagine a triangle right there, and then just keep your attention out there. If any of you guys get headaches or like feel migraines or anything like that, reach out to me in the comments. Let me know. All right, so last thing I'm going to say is the most respectful thing that you can do is treat someone as an equal to you. Even if they have to get readjusted to them not being above you, it's a deeper level of respect because you're treating them with the same dignity that you treat yourself with. Yeah, if anybody gets like headaches or migraines, reach out to me, and you can do it in the comments or through my Instagram. Just DM me, and yeah. Okay, that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. All right, hey, group 2, let's see what's going on for you guys. All right, so first thing is you guys are really blocked off, so it's really hard for me to read you. The reason this is coming up is so that you understand that you can block me or you can open yourself to people like me. So that's really important so that as you explore all this other spiritual stuff, you don't feel like you can be taken advantage of. So it's the same thing as like when you're in your car and you can press lock if you need to, or you can press unlock. That makes you feel safe. So it's not like you have to drive around with your car doors locked all the time, but just knowing that you have that choice is really helpful. So that metaphor basically corresponds to anyone doing like energy healing, intuitive stuff, tarot, whatever, any of the spiritual stuff that you're exploring right now. So that's important for you to experience so that you can just be like, oh, see, he can't read me, he can't look at my stuff unless I give him permission, unless I give him consent. If you'd like to let me read you, then you could go ahead and open up your energy. Thank you. Okay. That feels like a lot of us really appreciated that, so that's cool. All right, let's get to your pattern. So the pattern that's keeping the higher quality clients away from you. Let me explain a little bit of the pattern that you're running right now. So basically what happens is for you, what happens is as you go up, your clients go up, and then you go up, then your clients go up, you go up. So you have that dynamic going where it's competitive. There are some problems with the underlying motivation behind that competition, but the overall pattern, it's pretty functional. It does work for you, and it has gotten you to a pretty high level. Just to note, most of the people that are listening to this one, you might not be running your own business as much. You might just have like some sort of career. So it still affects both people. Just what I'm noticing is the majority of people will already have an existing career. So the reason to bring that up is because that sense of competition is very, very strong when you have like people working for the same company. So the way you're running it right now is, yes, if somebody achieves something, you want to achieve that certain level, but it's not like this friendly competition, this gentle competition. And you might be a little embarrassed by this, but it's like a jealousy thing. You turn away and it's like you harden in yourself. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? If you did this, I'll show you, and then I'll show you, and then it's that kind of thing with your clients. So you have this resistance because you want to attract in these higher quality clients, but you know that for you, that's going to mean you have to like achieve even more. And then you have to be confronted with all those feelings. So the underlying motivation that pushes you upwards, which you've used very constructively. Yeah, it's fear of like being left behind, fear of not being valuable, fear of no worth, this sense of like needing to prove yourself. You might resonate if you were kind of like a nerdy type in high school, you were, or like outcast in social settings. It's kind of like, okay, well, you guys don't see me. Well, now you're going to be working for me and I'll show you. Another metaphor that comes up here is I got to get my piece of the pie. So in order for that metaphor to ring true, so like here's how it works. We basically think that there's a pie, there's a fixed amount of resources available, and then it's a win-lose paradigm. So if I win, somebody else must lose. Since we view that the pie is not going to get any bigger, that the pie is a fixed amount, we have to stake our claim, and then we have to get our piece, and then they get their piece, they get their piece, and they get their piece. So what happens is when you see someone else, whether it's a coworker, colleague, client, even family member, when you see them getting a bigger piece of the pie, instantly we think, well, then I must be losing. So this is what drives you and has helped you become very, very competitive and achieve at a high level and get to a high level in your career. That's not the right way for you to think about it. So the new pattern that wants to come in is when somebody else gets success or promotion or raise or whatever, basically what that it means is that person has grown their section of the pie. So the new way of relating to this is, instead of seeing like when somebody else gets an achievement that they're stepping into your section of the pie, think of it as they're growing the pie. So if you think about the modern companies are growing all the time. So what's actually happening is they're not stealing part of your piece of the pie. What's actually happening is the entire pie is getting bigger. This is how you can still leverage that competition pattern that you have that works really well for you, so that now you can be more inspired to reach a higher level by other people's achievements without that corrosive, angry, jealous, like need to prove feelings being activated. So we're getting rid of the violent competition to propel you forward for like a friendly competition to pull you forward. You'll know you have it when you've had this sense of openness, and when you see someone achieving something, you're truly inspired. So you might even tell people that like, oh yeah, you really inspire me, but you feel inside of you that it's not really inspiring at all, and you're just like, well, I'm gonna one up you. If you imagine that the pie is constantly growing and constantly expanding, and the reason that that's happening is because different people and different slices of the pie, what they're doing is they expand themselves, and as they expand themselves, their piece of the pie expands, which contributes to the whole pie getting bigger. So it's like if the pie starts off this big, and then we expand, keeping it as a pie, keeping the whole thing together, like everybody's slices get bigger. So that's what I'll help you install, so that when you see other people making more achievements and getting more recognition, rewards, and all those kinds of things, it signals to you that, oh wow, the pie's getting bigger. So I still have opportunity to get more of the pie, but I don't have to like encroach on other people's boundaries in order to do that. All I have to do is like continue to hold myself. It'll inspire you to grow your side of the pie, but then you don't feel like they're taking from you. You feel like we're all growing the thing together, and then, the bigger we grow the pie, the bigger that everyone's going to benefit. So then it goes from this win-lose paradigm to more of a win-win. So before we do that, I want to figure out where this pattern originated. So give me a second, I'll scan us. This is like another inherited one. So if we go back in the day to think about when we were all like cavemen and cavewomen, that tribal mentality, when there was a fixed resource, like Pride Alliance goes out and hunts down a zebra, they're splitting up the zebra, and there's only 2 hind legs that any of the lions can eat. So there was like that sense of scarcity. So you did kind of have to push out and like hold your barriers and all that stuff. But if we look at the modern day, like that's so far, like our experience is entirely different than that. Like just think of what it takes for you to go out and feed yourself. You have to go and beat everybody up and do all that in order for you to be full? Or can you just literally go to the supermarket, pay a pretty nominal amount of money, and then you have plenty of food? So that's the point, is that way of thinking, while it was helpful back then, right now it's probably getting in the way. Your higher self probably brought you here so that you could let go of that. So that's what I'll work on for you. So go ahead and get comfy, and then when you're ready, take a deep breath in through your nose. Release. One more time, into your nose. Release out through your mouth. We'll keep that rhythm going, and I'll start working on them. Feeling disoriented or spacey or anything, just imagine a cord. Imagine a column going down through your body all the way down into the center of the earth, and that'll keep you feeling grounded and oriented while I'm doing this. So a couple notes for you. One is you can stay in this space, so you can stay in this like meditative space on your own, and it'll feel like you're still receiving benefits from me. So you're actually creating the benefit for yourself, but I would recommend hanging out in meditation if you can for a couple minutes. And then one thing I wanted to note was if you have the dynamic of like you're the brave warrior in your relationship that goes out and fights violently with everybody else to acquire the scarce resources, and you bring those back to your relationship, if like that's built into the attraction dynamic in the relationship, that might shift a little bit. So just be aware of that, because now you won't be able to like glorify going out and being violent. It'll just feel not good to you. So you'll find more peaceful ways of resolving things. So if your partner was attracted to you being the violent conqueror, your relationship might shift a little bit. And then the other thing is you'll be less tolerant of other people's BS. You won't tolerate that violent back and forth stuff that's done a lot of the time through like offhanded jokes or anything like that. You'll just like cut it down. You might find yourself being more, you'll feel more harsh around people and be like, whoa, I can't believe I was that strict with them, that stern with them. But it's actually a good thing for you and for them. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing this video, and I will see you guys next time. Later. All right, group 3, let's see what's going on. Okay, so with you guys, it's just like an awareness thing. You're not realizing how much better your client experience can be. You just kind of think like, this is just how it is. It is how it is. That's the pattern. Yeah, so that's one of the things that we'll work on in this energy healing, is bringing in more people that expand your view of what's possible in your business. So it's like you're not even seeing it, you're not even dreaming it. So then it's like very hard for you to see how much better it can be. It just feels like so like mechanical, and like it's as good as it's gonna get. And this is what happens sometimes if we've been working for someone for a long time, or we've had the same job, we've been in the same industry, we've owned the same company. Like it's just like it's been the same for a long time. It's so painful to imagine it being better and then constantly having that differential between the two. The pain of that, we eventually just say, I'm just sick of dreaming. So then we just bring it back down. That's why you're not attracting better clients into your business right now, is because you've kind of like pushed them aside as like, that's not even possible, which is super hard to deal with. So that's what I'll help you work on here, is just attracting more people that expand your view of what's possible. So this might come through, you might have other friends that have businesses, but then they'll start telling you stories about their other clients. You're going to be like, they did what for you? Like you'll hear stories about how they're so generous, or, so helpful, or like someone's like always sending them referrals. They don't even have to do anything. Or, somebody promotes their business, they share it on social media. Like they do all these things that are extremely generous that you don't even think is like a normal thing for people to do. Or maybe you have a pattern of like, yeah, it happens for everyone else, but not for me. So I'll help you with just bringing in those people that expand your sense of possibility, so that you start dreaming again, and then your experience of running your business or being in your career, like you start seeing that it can really go places. So you probably feel like you're stuck in a rut, stuck in the same place, and that's just what it is. So you've made peace with that. So okay, so yeah, I mean, you've just been yeah, it's like when you're heartbroken, but you just aren't willing to like let yourself feel the pain of that. You just hold yourself tight, like, nope, this is what it's gonna be. This is it, and I can deal with this, rather than actually allowing yourself to feel the pain of that. So let me see a little bit more about the pattern. Okay, so for most of us, this is like a parent thing, where our parent was like, we can't just expect things to drop from the sky. But what I'll do in this energy healing for you is make it so that new opportunities do start dropping in out of the sky. And then you can work on your other beliefs around that, your other patterns and programs around that, so that you start conditioning yourself to allow those kinds of opportunities to come in without giving up the sense of control and safety that you feel when you're just like being very realistic and pragmatic. A good name for this one is like leaving room for magic. Because if you close it out and you're just like, it's not going to happen for me, then you're not broadcasting that signal, and then nothing can come into you that is magical. So it's pretty amazing that you're even here in the first place, which is really cool. And thank you so much for trusting me. But that's your higher self. Your higher self is guiding you to it. So there's just kind of like a wave, the consciousness is getting upgraded right now. That's why there's so much disruption in the world. So one of the ways that you're getting upgraded is you're being connected more to this kind of stuff. So you're being guided, basically. So this pattern likely came from one of your parents, where you saw them and then they just were going through some kind of pain, and then they're just like, yeah, it's not for me. So then you took that on. And the reason you took that on is just because it was like safer for you. It's just like, okay, well, I know that you can survive, and that is a survivable life experience to have. So I'll take it. It's kind of like someone that goes into a restaurant and, here's like all these different exotic things on the menu, but like sticks with their regular food item because that's what they've always ordered and that's what they feel safe ordering. And yeah, but then they're missing out on all these other wonderful things that would enhance their experience. If you just grew up in a family where, mom and dad ordered the same thing every single time, it takes a lot for you to break out of that and be like, no, I'm going to try to do all the random stuff. Especially if you broke out of it one time, you tried one thing that was off the menu or one weird thing that wasn't your regular thing, and then it tasted bad, so then you went straight back to like, okay, I'm done trying that. So that way of thinking is affecting your career and is affecting the clients that you're bringing. So I'll just work on it so that you open up, and then you start attracting clients into your experience, either directly into yours or through like the people that you know. You'll start hearing stories, like I was saying earlier, of incredible clients, and then it's going to open your mind. You'll be like, what? I could have that? And then it'll sound good, and then eventually your curiosity will start bringing you into those situations. I just want to let you know, you still have quite a few other patterns that you have to move and let go of before those clients can actually reach you. But this will start you off on the path so that you start getting traction there. All right, so if you would like the healing, go ahead and open up your energy, say yes. If you don't, or you're unsure, close it, say no, and you can always come back to this later. But for everyone that said yes, go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. And out through your mouth. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. If you feel any intense emotions after this, that's part of the process. Sorry if you feel that, but it's necessary. So just let them come, let them go. Even if it doesn't make sense and you don't understand why they're there, for a lot of us, they're not even ours. They didn't start with us, so just let them pass through you. One thing that will help everyone in this group is take it easy on drinking for a bit. That will help. And then, yeah, like any kind of movement, like dancing. If dancing's not really your thing, like even like a yoga or something. Don't do like a strength training hard workout. Do something that moves your body in new ways. So anything like that. Okay? I think that's it. Okay. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much for hanging out. Later. All right, group 4, let's see what's going on with you. All right, so the first thing I noticed with this group is you kind of like get pinged around. So it's like, it's kind of like there's a lot of shiny objects. You're like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that. And there's not like a follow through focus thing. It makes it so higher quality clients, they're a little scared of working with you because you're just kind of fluttering around, which is good because you see new opportunities, but you're not like focused and you're not creating a sense of safety and structure that high-end clients expect to have. So that's one piece of this. You have like, you're chasing all these different shiny objects, and you don't have that focus and that follow through to create the structure that feels really, really safe for higher end clients to be more attracted to you. It feels like you're having a lot of fun in your business, and that's awesome. And there's a lot about that that's working really well. You just need like a little bit more routine, a little bit more structure to whatever it is that you're offering. I mean, and it's not even just like the thing that you're offering, it's in like who you are as a person. Like, they need to feel safe working with you. So for example, metaphor that comes up is dancing, like someone leading. If you want the really attractive person to feel safe dancing with you, you have to feel very confident in being able to lead them around. And the only way that you feel confident is because you've practiced the steps a bunch of times and you understand what to do. You know how to send them cues on when to turn and all those kinds of things. So the same thing is going on with your business. You have to be able to create that structure and safety for clients to feel like it's a good time. So you're probably attracting quite a lot of clients right now, which is amazing. And you've done that through like your personality, your charisma. Yeah, you're a very good people person. The thing that you can add into this is creating that safety through having a sense of structure and follow through, and a little less of you being distracted by all the shiny new opportunities and more like following through and going all the way with the clients that you currently have. Let me see if I can find a little bit more. So I do want to acknowledge first that in order for you to be attracting all the clients and bringing in all those leads and having all these opportunities, there is a certain level of mastery. The clients that you want, the ones that are even higher end, the ones that will be even better for you, they require that sense of safety. So it's no different than driving a car. If you're driving relatively slow, you know, 10, 20 miles an hour, you can kind of take your eyes off the road. But if you're driving like 250 miles an hour, you cannot let yourself look off to the side for a second. You have to be so fixed and so focused and so dialed in. Obviously for you, you don't need to be going 250 miles an hour, but it's like somewhere in between those two. So instead of being so distracted by new shiny possibilities, I want to help you feel okay providing that sense of structure and step-by-stepness for your clients so that you like convert more of the clients that are already coming to you. So I'll work on that for you. Before we do that, let's see where the pattern originated. Yeah, I mean, you just understood how to be popular. Like you figured that out. And that probably worked for you. Either you figured out how to be popular when you were younger, or you saw other people, or you saw your parents, like somebody that was like extremely people person, extremely charismatic, and you just saw like, whoa, they can elicit all these feelings in people and they can move people emotionally, and then people want to hang out around them and they have all this stuff. So you have that pattern that is functioning and does work for you, but it's just gotten to the point now where it's like there's a way that you can do it where you can use that pattern where it's not just to deal with your fears of being alone. You can use that pattern as a way of bringing people in, and then you can help them with whatever it is that your product or service or business does for them. So instead of just like looking around and attracting all these opportunities just for the sake of you feeling an abundance of opportunities to cover up the like, oh no, I don't want to be left alone feeling, you can use all those talents to bring people in and then lead them through a process which benefits them and benefits you. So yeah, this has its origins in you or someone you know having figured out that popularity equation, and then you just going like, okay, I'm going to copy that. And then you got good at it and you got some results on it. So then you're like a little over reliant on it. And now it's becoming like more of a crutch rather than something that can propel you, like a catalyst to your next level. And then you become pretty irresistible, to be honest. So that's cool. Okay, so I'm going to start working on that. So if you're ready, go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold. And then exhale through your mouth. Hold. Inhale through your nose again. So with this group, you might have some fears of being left alone. So I'm clearing out some of the things that are the reasons behind why you have those fears of being left alone. Okay. So with this group, you don't have to go crazy with it, but it is positive for you to bring a little bit more routine and discipline into your life if you don't already have that. You don't have to go crazy, but if you can add a little bit into your life, that's going to be really helpful. And then you can kind of harmonize the benefits of both patterns. So I worked on a bunch of stuff there and know that you being more disciplined and you choosing that is going to help you not only not have like so many opportunities that don't finish with you, actually you'll have a lot more fun because then you get to go further and deeper with the clients that do end up working with you. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.